In South Asia, a bomb blast and a new trade tariff are not separate stories. They're symptoms of the same regional illness. Every headline of violence or economic restriction is a reminder that fear and mistrust are deeply woven into the fabric of daily life here. The consequences ripple far beyond the immediate tragedy or policy change, touching millions of lives in ways both seen and unseen. Insecurity breeds economic stagnation, and stagnation fuels more insecurity. When people feel unsafe, investment dries up, businesses hesitate, and jobs disappear. The streets grow quieter, not with peace, but with the silence of lost opportunity and shuttered dreams. When India and Pakistan clash, it's the truck driver at the border and the small business owner who suffer first. Their livelihoods are held hostage by decisions made far away, their futures uncertain with every new crisis. For them, every closed gate is a closed door to hope. This cycle has trapped South Asia for decades. Generations have grown up knowing only barriers and suspicion, watching opportunities slip away as the world outside moves forward. A terror attack or a tariff hike both freeze commerce, punishing ordinary people and strangling shared growth. The cost is not just economic, it's a loss of trust, a hardening of hearts, and a deepening of divides that are already too wide. Political posturing and suspicion keep the region on edge, unable to build the economic foundations needed for peace. Leaders speak of security, but their actions often reinforce the very fears they claim to fight. Unlike other regions that built bridges of commerce, we build walls. Each new barrier is a missed chance for connection, a physical reminder of the divisions that hold us back. Our economies are so disconnected that cutting ties is an easy political move, making us all more vulnerable. The isolation is not just between nations, but between communities, families, and futures that could have been shared. Security and economic health are inseparable, yet we ignore this at our peril. When the economy falters, so does the hope for lasting peace and stability. A jobless youth is more vulnerable to extremism. A community without opportunity is fertile ground for conflict. The frustration of unemployment can quickly turn into anger, and anger into unrest. To build a secure South Asia, we must first build a prosperous one by learning to trust, trade, and grow together. Prosperity is the strongest antidote to fear, and cooperation the surest path to security. The path to peace is paved with commerce. Every open border, every handshake, every shared market is a step away from conflict and a step toward a brighter future. The rest of the world is moving forward. We remain stuck in the past, but it doesn't have to be this way. The choice to break the cycle is ours if we have the courage to take it. Subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia. South Asia's failure to integrate is most obvious in the numbers. The statistics are staggering, revealing a story of untapped potential and lost opportunities that affect millions of lives every single day. Intra-regional trade is just 5% of our total global trade, an embarrassingly low figure for a region so densely populated and rich in resources. The vast majority of goods, services, and ideas flow out of the region, rather than between our own countries. For every $100 in trade, only 5 are with our neighbors. The rest is with distant markets, while our own borders remain barriers instead of bridges. Compare that to the EU's 45% or ASEAN's 22%. These regions have shown what's possible when countries work together, creating prosperity and stability for their people. We're a region of neighbors who rarely trade with each other, squandering massive potential. Our borders, instead of being gateways for opportunity, have become walls that keep us apart. The UN estimates our intra-regional trade could triple, reaching $67 billion, or even $172 billion with real integration. Imagine the transformation if we could unlock even a fraction of that potential. That money could build schools, hospitals, and create millions of jobs. It could lift families out of poverty, improve healthcare, and give our youth a brighter future. Instead, it's locked away by political squabbles and lack of imagination. Decades of mistrust and missed opportunities have left us lagging behind. South Asia is home to a quarter of humanity, but our combined GDP is just $5 trillion, far behind the EU's $18 trillion. The gap is not just economic, it's a measure of unrealized dreams. Our people are not less capable. Our economies are just fragmented and inefficient. Entrepreneurs, workers, and innovators are held back by red tape and closed borders. We have the resources and the people, but not the collective will. Our rivers, fields, and mines are brimming with promise, waiting to be unleashed. The numbers tell a story of missed opportunity, but they also hint at what's possible. If we choose to work together, the future could look very different. In South Asia, it's often cheaper and easier to trade with the United States thousands of miles away than with a neighbor just across the border, sometimes only a few kilometers away. The cost of trading within the region averages a staggering 114% of the goods value, making it more expensive than trading with distant countries on other continents. This is the paradox of proximity. Geography should make trade easy, but politics, bureaucracy, and history make it difficult and costly. High tariffs, complex customs procedures, and endless paperwork create both visible and invisible barriers that slow down commerce and frustrate businesses. Trucks can wait for days, sometimes even weeks, at congested borders, while perishable goods spoil and costs mount. As a result, regional industries remain isolated, unable to benefit from the scale and efficiency that come with integration. For example, a Bangladeshi factory might import fabric from China, thousands of kilometers away, instead of from India, which is just across the border. Hydropower projects in Nepal struggle to sell energy to neighboring countries, not because of distance, but due to a lack of cross-border infrastructure and regional agreements. These barriers are not natural. They're the result of decades of mistrust, missed opportunities, and policy choices that prioritize suspicion over cooperation. We pay a heavy price to trade with strangers, sending our goods and money far away, while ignoring the vast opportunities that exist right next door. Regional supply chains, which have powered prosperity in places like East Asia, are stunted here, leaving South Asia's potential untapped. In the end, we act like strangers, not neighbors, missing out on the benefits that true regional cooperation could bring to millions. Mistrust is the invisible wall dividing South Asia. Political disputes, border arguments, and unresolved conflicts fuel suspicion at every level. Nationalist rhetoric and media amplify these fears, making economic cooperation seem risky. SAARC, meant to foster unity, is paralyzed by its own rules. Any country can veto progress. Summits become photo ops, not forums for real change. Investors crave stability, but in South Asia, a diplomatic spat can shut down businesses overnight. This uncertainty drives capital away and stifles growth. Until we dismantle this wall of mistrust, our economies will remain shackled. Agreements are signed, but rarely implemented. Every opportunity is viewed through a lens of suspicion. The cost of mistrust is stagnation. Subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia. The cost of failed integration is measured in lost jobs and broken dreams. A Pakistani graduate can't access India's tech market. A Nepali farmer can't sell produce next door. Regional value chains that create jobs elsewhere don't exist here. Our industries operate in isolation, leading to underemployment and brain drain. Every day people pay more for goods when borders close over political disputes. We have the resources for cheap, clean energy, but lack cooperation. The greatest cost is the perpetuation of poverty. Untapped trade potential could transform millions of lives. By choosing rivalry over partnership, we keep our own people poorer. The human cost is real and urgent. South Asia's divisions are rooted in history, partition, wars, and old wounds that never healed. The India-Pakistan rivalry, the creation of Bangladesh, and smaller nations' fears of domination all shape today's mistrust. History is taught as a weapon, not a lesson, fueling suspicion across generations. Political leaders exploit these grievances for short-term gain. Breaking free from the past requires a new narrative, one that values shared heritage and common interests. We must acknowledge the pain of history, but not let it dictate our future. Until we do, the ghosts of the past will haunt our present. The chains of history are heavy, keeping us from building a shared future. We must choose to move forward, together. SAARC was meant to unite South Asia, but it remains a promise on paper. Its charter requires unanimity, giving every country a veto, paralyzing progress. Bilateral disputes, especially India-Pakistan, derail summits and block initiatives. The organization is forced to ignore the real issues, making it ineffective. Even agreements like SAFTA are gutted by exemptions and non-tariff barriers. SAARC is a framework waiting for political will that never arrives. It's like doctors forbidden to discuss the disease they're meant to cure. The potential for cooperation exists, but remains unrealized. The region falls further behind while SAARC gathers dust. We need institutions that work, not just promises. Subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia. ASEAN proves integration is possible, even among diverse and conflicted neighbors. They focused on practical steps, improving logistics, digitizing customs, and building infrastructure. The ASEAN single window made trade easier and cheaper. Willing countries moved ahead, instead of letting one hold everyone back. Sub-regional projects like the Greater Mekong sub-region flourished. South Asia could follow this model. BBN, for example, can deepen integration even if others lack. Middle power countries attract investment by creating stable, predictable environments. They invest in education and use innovative finance for infrastructure. These are proven strategies, not revolutionary ideas. South Asia doesn't need to reinvent the wheel. The blueprints for success are already out there. South Asia's integration is possible through small, persistent steps. First, lower trade barriers, digitize customs, upgrade borders, harmonize standards. These are technical fixes with big impact. Build trust from the ground up, student exchanges, cultural festivals, business forums, and joint media. Economic interdependence creates a lobby for peace. Revitalize or replace paralyzed institutions. Pursue flexible, focused platforms like BBN. Focus on sectors where cooperation is a win-win: energy, climate, disaster management. A shared power grid or joint early warning system can save lives and build trust. Change must be citizen-driven. Demand accountability from leaders. Challenge divisive narratives and ask why it's easier to trade with distant countries than with neighbors. The journey will be long, but it's necessary. For 2 billion people, shared prosperity is not just a dream, it's a necessity. The future depends on the steps we take today. Subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia.